The 49ers got their stars back on offense, okay? And Brock Purdy got right back on track. Purdy now 12 passing touchdowns, just one interception with Deebo Samuel on the field in his career, compared to 16 touchdowns and 8 interceptions with Samuel out of the game. That's big time. The offense has definitely put up some numbers at the right time. It might be easy to forget that the 49ers defense held Trevor Lawrence and company to just 3 points. RC, how'd they get that done?
I think the first thing was they said, you know what, we're not going to keep ramming our head into a brick wall expecting this wall to fall. And so Steve Wilks made some changes. Isaiah Oliver was the starting nickel throughout the bye week. They came out and they moved Diamador Lenore to the nickel spot and brought in Ambry Thomas on the outside. And what this allowed the safeties and the nickels to do was move around, communicate in a way where we saw the cohesion between them, which let Fred Warner, Gray Greenlaw, you saw some mug A-gap rushes or A-gap looks where they fell out into pressure or where they brought Diamador Lenore off of the head of the slot receiver. I thought this team was much more aggressive, and I thought they played better and moved around better because of some of the changes they made throughout the bye week schematically, but also to this roster.
Yeah, I agree, RC, and I love the schematic point. I think they might have watched our segment last week from NFL Live and simulated pressures. I don't recall San Francisco's defense running some of those simulated blitzes where they had 6 or 7 guys up at the line of scrimmage. And to RC's point, some of those guys pressured, some of those guys dropped out. That's never really been, since Kyle Shanahan's been their head coach, kind of their MO. But we've talked about some of the struggles with getting to the pass rusher, some of the struggles from the interior line not showing up. They found something this weekend when it came to this stuff, because they can still major in 4 guys rushing and 7 guys in coverage, but just different looks at the snap. So for a defense that hasn't done it, I'd be concerned if I had to play them knowing that they had it in their bag now.
But the thing was, though, the beauty about this was Steve Wilks showed that he could adjust, showed that he could be different. We have to remember, he took over for DeMeco Ryans. You don't have to do exactly what he's done with the San Francisco 49er defense. And so as the Minnesota Vikings and Cincinnati Bengals played extremely well against him, he made changes, and you saw that adjustment end in pressure.
Yeah, I think Dan hit the nail on the head, too, with talking about the 4-man pressure and realizing I don't need to be too arrogant to think that I don't need to change up looks in order to generate pressure. D.O., you know, a few weeks ago I was talking about the interior pressure, but it allowed this entire defense to play better. Y'all, Fred Warner played faster. I don't know how the hell that's a real thing, but he played faster in this game. I think what Steve Wilks did by coming down to the sideline was take a lot of the guesswork out. And then, too, just we saw this play earlier. You drop Eric Armstead into a window for Trevor Lawrence. You rush 3, but you end up with 3 offensive linemen blocking the center of the line of scrimmage, and that way you create one-on-ones for Bosa and Chase Young. These are the type of things that they did in order to generate pressure. We talked about simulated pressures. We talked about all of those, but Steve Wilks came down to the sideline and identified, how do I create a look to get Bosa, Chase Young one-on-ones? And you could say he made a concerted effort to do it.
You see how much energy this team had?
100%.
Like you were doing something different. You weren't just lining up and being who you've always been for the last few years and having that success. He said, okay, we got beat a little bit. We aren't playing as well on the back end. We aren't rushing as well with 4. Let's do something different.
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, Dan, we obviously focus on the defense, but the offense is fine too, right, now that they've gotten healthy?
Well, yeah, Deebo was there and Trent Williams was there. It was a 21 personnel fest where, you know, Kyle Juszczyk is playing fullback. He's playing tight end. He's playing the wing. They had Christian McCaffrey running legit wide receiver routes. So it was very much so an offensive performance that was expected, and Brock Purdy seemed to be the player that we saw for the first 10 or 11 starts of his career.
Death taxes and the 49ers are probably Super Bowl contenders.